Alrighty, so today is our first music theory lesson. Again, if you are on the list of students who can skip this lesson, then all you got to do is just go to the assignment and complete it. Give you some extra credit points if you can give me some very impressive long words on number 3 on that assignment. All right. So we're going to start talking about pitches and the staff today. After this lesson, you'll be able to identify and label the letter names of notes on a piano keyboard, identify and draw high and low pitches on the staff, and identify and draw pitches above and below the staff using ledger lines. So we're just going to go over the very, very basics to start off. So when we're talking in music, pitch is what the word we use to describe how high or low a sound is. If something has a high pitch, that means that the sound is high. Low pitch is low. Pitch names follow the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A through G. You're never going to have an H in music, but A through G is what you're going to have. And these 7 pitches repeat themselves over and over again. So after you get to G, the pattern is going to go back to A, B, C. So for example, on the piano, you might see these notes in sequence, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and it just keeps on going and going. All right? So you only use those 7 letters when you're talking about different pitches. So when we are trying to write those pitches down, we use a staff to show where those pitches should be played. A staff is made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces, as you can see right here. So the higher the note is, the higher the note is placed on the staff, and the lower notes go down toward the bottom of the staff. And sometimes those notes are higher or lower than the staff can really show. So in that case, we use what's called a ledger line, which is just a line that you add above or below the staff. This makes it so you can have lower or higher notes that don't necessarily fit onto the staff, but you can still write them out. It's always very important to have. So now that we understand that, let's talk about the grand staff and start adding on our letter names. So there are 2 main clefs that we use, and a clef is used to show which pitch goes on each line and space. So those 2 clefs we use are the treble clef, or the G clef, and the bass clef, or the F clef. Okay, depending on which instrument you play or which voice part you sing, you're only going to be using one or the other of these. So the treble clef is also called the G clef because this lower swirl right here is centered on the line that stands for G. Okay, so you can see right here, it's centered on that G line. So as long as you have that G, you can put all the other notes in there as well. So the lowest line on the treble clef is an E, the highest one is an F. And it just goes in alphabetical order, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. The bass clef, which is also called the F clef, is called that because those 2 dots that you see on either side of a line, right here, the line is F. All right, so as long as you can find that line right there, which is F, you can find all the other notes as well, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now, the bass clef always is lower than the treble clef. It's all those lower notes that you can't fit onto those treble clef. So we often use both the treble and the bass clefs, and the way that we use that is we put them together. We put a bar, and we put a brace. And once we've done that, then together, those 2 clefs, those 2 staffs, are called the grand staff. Now, if you're looking at this right here, you see, if you're going in alphabetical order from the bottom to the top, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, but then it skips to E. We're missing our B, C, and D. That's no problem, though, because between the 2 clefs, we can add in one ledger line right in the middle. And that ledger line is C, middle C. So then you have the space below it is B, the space above it is D, and now we have a continuous line from G all the way up to the high F. Okay, so all those notes have a place to belong. Now, when we're first doing this, sometimes it can be hard to remember all of our different lines and spaces. So what we do is we have phrases and words that help us remember those notes. So if we're trying to remember what our line notes are on the treble staff, we use this phrase right here. Every good boy deserves fudge. Because E, G, B, D, F is what those lines are in the treble clef. And then for the bass clef, those lines spell out, good birds don't fly away, G, B, D, F, A. All right, so We have our lines. Now we need to remember what our space notes are. And again, we have ways to remember that. So the space notes on the treble clef spell out a word, F-A-C-E, face. And the space notes on the bass clef spell out this phrase, all cows eat grass, A-C-E-G. Okay? So when you're trying to remember your lines and your spaces on those different clefs, you just got to remember those phrases. So face and all cows eat grass for the treble staff and the bass staff. And then for the lines, every good boy deserves fudge for the treble staff, and good birds don't fly away for the bass staff. Okay? So what you're going to be doing now is you're going to be putting this in practice and placing notes onto the lines and spaces in order to spell out words. So it's a pretty simple assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab a note and you're going to drag it to wherever it needs to go. For example, on this treble staff right here, you need to spell out the word bagged, okay? So we're going to find out where the B is of bagged, okay? And to do that, we're going to look at this, the lines. So remember, the line phrase, for example, is every good boy, right? So you could just drop it right here. And that's our first one, okay? So again, you're just going to drag each of these notes and put them in the right spaces. Okay, do the same thing for the bass clef with the word deface. Remember using those phrases and words that we use to remember our notes. And then right here, you're going to come up with your own words. So I want to see at least 2 words that you're going to spell out with the notes up on the treble staff, and 2 words you're going to spell out with the bass staff. If you want some extra credit, all you got to do is make some really long words on each staff, and that will really give you some extra credit in my book, is adding in those really long words. So try it out.